So when I just started writing review articles or research articles in the beginning, the most common problem I used to face was that my articles were not getting accepted by the journals. I used to do everything that I had read or I was told by a mentor that write an article, check everything, but it was not getting published. So like for me in the beginning when I just started writing, like all of us who are just starting as aspiring researchers, or if you're a PhD student, when you start writing an article, the first thing that you do is, oh, this is my topic, I want to write on it, and you collect all the information that is needed to write that article and you go ahead with it, right? And that's what exactly I was doing, and that was later I realized was the most common mistake I was making in writing any article. It could be a review article, it could be a research article. But the most common mistake all of us make is we just pick up a topic and we think that we've done our research and that's good enough for us to write and get it published in a very good journal. It took me really a long time to figure out why I was getting so many rejections, why my articles were not getting published in a PubMed or a Scopus Index journal. And I'm going to share all those strategies, all those mistakes that we make in this video with you so that you can understand how to write a good review article. I'm going to divide this video into phases. It will be first, I'll be talking about the different type of review articles. So before you write, you should know what you're writing. It's just not a review article. There are many type of articles that you write. My second part would be about the mistakes that you commonly make and what is the whole process of getting your manuscript published when it goes to the editor. And the third, I'll tell you about my scheme, which I call as D.I.F.F, D-I-F-F, and I'll talk about this as which will help you with the strategies that you can use to publish your article in a very good journal. At Board Aspirants, I also help anyone who wants to learn about how to write a review article or with editing the review articles. If you don't know me, I'm Dr. Swati Gupta. I'm a practicing dentist, I'm a researcher and a YouTuber, and I make all the videos on education and for health purposes. So, without wasting anyone's time, let's get started. The first is, what are the different type of review articles? Now, when this question was asked to me in the beginning by my mentor, I was like, review article. I've read so many articles and these are review articles, and I think review article is just about doing some research on a particular topic and getting it published. Now that's where I was wrong, and that's a thing that was coming back in my comments also, because I had read a lot of articles, right? And I was like, okay, this is the data I have, and I'm going to just compile everything, write an article, and this is, and I was just mixing up. I was literally mixing up everything. I was mixing up a literature review with a systematic review, and the comments that I would get is, okay, this seems like a systematic review, but you've not really mentioned anything related to systematic review. And then I was like, okay, I really need to figure this out. I really need to understand. And this is again one of the most common things I see when people approach me and they ask about reviewing their article, and I see it's all over the place. Like they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the different type of articles that you can write, review articles. Now you have a literature review, okay, you have a systematic review, and there's something called as a meta-analysis. Now what is the difference between these three? A literature review is basically you are doing a survey of a topic. So let's talk about, like I wrote a review article on, it was a systematic review on simvastatin. If you've not seen my previous video, here is the link in the description. It was on systematic review on simvastatin and implants. Okay, so literature review is basically a very simple version of a review. Okay, it's a research. So if I was to say that I want to discuss something about simvastatin and its benefits in dentistry, and all I want to do is find out all the articles that have been written for simvastatin and its role in dentistry, I would just compile all the articles and talk and discuss, basically like how I'm giving a speech. So literature review is something like giving a speech about a particular topic, and then you give your conclusions about it. What do you understand? What are the articles that said it has a benefit? What are the articles that said it doesn't have a benefit? And that's all about a literature review. Okay, coming to a systematic review. The systematic review that you can watch in my video, the previous video. Systematic review is basically very specific. And through systematic review, you are trying to address a very highly researched question. Like literature review, I talked about systematic review and simvastatin and its role in dentistry. Okay, so I did not really address any kind of question. I'm just literally telling you that simvastatin has some role in dentistry, and I'm compiling everything in terms of it has a role in implants, it has a role in bone formation. That's it. But if I was to ask a very highly specific question, which would be simvastatin and its role in bone regeneration in dentistry, now I have put out a very specific point here, which is the question is bone regeneration. I want to know about simvastatin and how exactly does bone regeneration, and has it done any kind of bone regeneration in dentistry. And let's make it more specific. Let's make it simvastatin role in bone regeneration in implant dentistry. Very specific question. That means I'm going to pick up very specific articles on bone regeneration, simvastatin, and implants. And there's a way to write systematic reviews. Again, you can watch my video on how to write a systematic review. Now, let's go to the third type, and that is meta-analysis. Now, meta-analysis is very similar to a systematic review. Um, the thing is both like systematic review and meta-analysis, they're conducted in the same way. You are addressing a very specific, properly defined research question. But in meta-analysis, you need to give a number. Like for systematic review, I could have easily said that simvastatin has a role to play for bone regeneration in implants, or it doesn't have, because I have both kind of studies and I'm mentioning that, okay, I found that some studies said yes, some studies said no. That's it. Meta-analysis is very specific because it actually talks about numbers. It asks how many or percentage of articles say that, and that it actually has a benefit. And if it has a benefit, then talk in numbers, again percentage, like 95% benefit, or 95% bone regeneration was seen, or plus minus so many millimeters. That's where you actually go into statistics. You get the t-test done, or ANOVA test, or there are many different tests for comparing. You have studies, and then you're going to compare, okay, these many studies said that there was a benefit, but how much? So you've given some numbers there. Okay, so there are different type of review articles. So the first thing which I understood after so many rejections, and when everyone was asking me, you're doing a whole mix up here, is to understand what do you want to write. Do I want to address a specific question, or I just want to write a general view on a particular topic without really going into the depth of answering a specific question? Okay. Regardless of what kind of review you write, you have to understand some basic things, some basic guidelines to get your article published in journal. Now, once we have this out of the way, we've understood the different type of review articles. Let's get into understanding what happens when you send your article to a journal. Okay, so I followed this research article, and actually there were many more. The links of those research articles you'll find in my description also. I was following these research articles and was trying to always understand what exactly happened. So, without going into the details of each article, I'm going to just give you a gist of what these articles say. So, first thing, what happens? You submitted your manuscript. Okay, it's gone to the editor. Now, the editorial chief, when he gets all the articles, they have the whole team of editorial members. Everyone is going to discuss, okay, do we need something specific in this particular issue, and what are we looking at? That is the decision making, right? Now, when they make the decisions, 20 to 30% of the articles get rejected at this phase. Now, why are the articles getting rejected? Is the most common reason that articles cite, the research paper that I was talking about, they cited, was the quality of the article. And what do you understand by quality of the article? Quality of the article means that it's not written properly. And not written properly would have hundred of reasons there. Your English was not right, your formatting is not right, you did not follow the journal guidelines, could be anything. So that is the phase when some articles are really getting just thrown out, and you'll get a rejection within few days that no, we've not accepted your article. And second reason that articles immediately get rejected is that it's not within the scope of the journal. That means those journals don't even publish that kind of an article. Now, if I send a dentistry article to, let's say, a medical journal, Journal of Medical Association, and they probably don't even publish anything about dentistry, then obviously it's going to get outright rejected, right? They're not going to publish it, so they're going to say it's not within a scope of the journal. Or if someone related to let's say engineering publishes or sends an article to a dental journal, it's not going to get published, right? Okay, so these are the two most common reasons that your articles are going to get rejected. One, the quality is not good. Second, it's not within the scope of the journal. Okay, now 20-30% has gone. 20 to 30% of the articles have been rejected. So we are left with 70% or 80% of the articles, and now they have to make a decision. Now, how do they make a decision at this phase? This is the phase when actually they will send it to their reviewers. Each editorial, each journal has a committee, has a set of reviewers for whom they sent it to for reviewing. Like, I'm a reviewer for Journal of Craniofacial Research and Neurobiology. So, like, not all the articles are sent to me, but sometimes relevant that I put, okay, I will review these kind of articles. They send those articles to me, right? And then I review them. So this is how journal does. It's not like, they have their own team that's only going to look at it. They're going to send it for a peer review. That is, they're going to send it to the reviewers, and the reviewers are going to read it. And then now it's up to the reviewers. Okay, reviewers are going to either accept it or just send you. It's very, very, very less common that the reviewers are going to just accept your article without any comments or without any revision. Those are very high quality articles. Probably I've always received articles, and I know the people I work with, the researchers who've been publishing articles from the centuries. um like always there are going to be comments, but these comments are called as minor comments. They're minor revisions, and these minor revisions are something that, okay, can you change this format, or could you just add something in your discussion, and they'll accept it for publication. So this is the whole process. Now, we don't want to be in that 20 to 30%, right? And we want to be in that category that at least goes to the reviewers, and the reviewers have a chance to look at our article, and then probably they can either accept it after minor revisions or reject it, because there are lots of major revisions, and we don't want to be in the major revision category also. Okay, so now that you've understood what am I writing, now that you've understood the whole process, I think it becomes really easier to understand what I have to do, and what I want to do to make sure that my article doesn't get rejected. And this is where I came up with my own scheme, that is D.I.F.F scheme. Now, how did I come up with the D.I.F.F scheme? Let me explain what is D. So D stands for decide, I stands for input, F stands for format, and the last letter F is for feedback. Okay, this whole scheme. Now, how did I come up with this scheme is because of, again, I understood what are the causes that my article can get rejected. What is D? Decide. Like I told you initially, you have to decide where you want to get your article published. If you're writing on dentistry topic, and under that there are lots of topics, you have to decide, does this article even publish? Mostly if you look at implant journals, they mostly have topics related to implants. So I know that if I'm publishing about implants, I probably would be looking at most of the implant journals. There are very good chances my article will get accepted there. If I'm writing something related to prosthetics, I'm not really sure how many implant journals will publish it. They can publish, but again, it depends on their scope. You have to look back into their guidelines and decide, okay, do they publish it, or will it be just a waste of my time going through and submitting a manuscript? Okay, so first, decide what you want to write, decide how you want to write based on the journal guidelines. Always go through the journal, always look at the guidelines and look at their previous articles, how they are written, how they frame it, and how you should be framing it accordingly. So D is done. I said input, envision. That means envision what is the outcome, what is it that you want someone to read. Like when I'm making a video, like when whatever we are doing, there has to be a result in mind, right? Similarly, an article, there has to be an idea in mind, which would be how it should look like, how should be my introduction be, how my conclusion has to be, what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to come up with. It's something like a hypothesis, but you're not proving or disapproving a hypothesis here. You are just trying to make sure that your message goes out. If again, I'm only going to quote simvastatin because we started with simvastatin. If I'm putting something related to simvastatin in dentistry, I have an idea in mind. I've read so many articles about it, and I know that I'm trying to say that simvastatin has some good implication in dentistry. I'm putting my articles all through it. I have framed an idea in mind that how I'm going to connect my introduction with my conclusion. And again, that is something most of the people don't do. Like this is the most common mistake I see when students come, or when people approach me, and I see there is no connection between their introduction and their conclusion. Everything is like there is no sense. You started introducing the topic in a very different way and you're concluding something really different. So there has to be, it is a story. A review article is a story, it has to make a connection. So that is your input, envisioning. F is formatting. The thing that I told you, that the most common reason the articles get rejected is because you did not format it according to the author's guidelines, you did not correct your English. And these days you have all the tools that you want to use to correct anything. Grammarly, all you can use Grammarly for your English editing, you can use Grammarly for your grammar editing, you can use other tools. There are spell checks in Word. You don't even have to use an app, you can always go through Word check, spell check through Word document and correct it, and paragraphs and headings and subheadings, a lot that goes into formatting. So do not ignore formatting. And it has to be again according to the author guidelines for that particular journal. If they say Times New Roman, you have to do Times New Roman. They say 12 font, you have to do a 12 font. These are the things that you do not want to get your article rejected just because you did not format it properly, you do not correct your. And the fourth one, and the one that I say is very, very important, is the feedback. Feedback from your own friends, from your colleagues, from your mentors. You do your own peer review. You don't have to wait for, you don't have to like, get comments only from the journal reviewers. Do your own peer review, send it out to your friends, see what they say. People who've written a lot of articles, I used to do that. Whenever I was writing an article in the beginning, I used to send it to my mentors, my faculties, my friends who'd written a lot of articles, and get feedback. Because when you write, this is the most important thing. When you're writing, you need to understand where I might be going wrong. Okay, I put in so much effort, but I used to do was, after putting so much effort, you want to know if this is worth it, right? If this is actually right. So what I used to do was, I used to write, like if I wrote introduction, I'll just send it to my friend or to my faculty and be like, okay, can you review it? Does it make sense to you? Then I'll write my methodology, then I'll write my conclusions, and I'll just compile everything, send it over again. It was a lot of back and forth, and you get really amazing feedbacks. It could be your English, it could be that things are not making sense, things are not connected, and but that used to make so much difference, especially when you've just started writing. And even if you're actually been writing from a long time, you would be surprised to know that people who've been writing research articles, they still discuss those research articles, they still have someone reviewing it for them before it actually goes for submission into a journal. So feedback is really important. So all these four strategies things I told you, the decision, input, formatting, and feedback, they're really important. It might take you some time. It might take you 1 to 3 months to get write an article, a good article. But if you follow these strategies, your article will at least go to the stage where it is in the 60 to 70% of articles which are getting reviewed by the reviewers, and you'll get some comments. If even after watching this video you have doubts, or you want to email for a review article, you want to understand how to write a good review article, you have a review article that you want me to review and help you out with, email at my email ID. It's there in the description, and I'll be happy to help you. Until then, goodbye, and we'll see you again. Bye.